Excelente.
Hi everyone, I'm JC from the Nintendo Treehouse, and this is
JC.
Nintendo Treehouse Live. Nintendo Treehouse Live is a way for us to give folks a sneak peek of some of the games and projects we're working on. In this case, we have
Hola, Haji.
2 projects to show you today. Later in the program,
Vamos
we're
a
going to
los
give you a
juegos.
look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. But first, we do want to give you a look at a game that it's very, very near and dear to us in the Treehouse, which is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And who better to show us through a Pikmin game than my man Corey. So Corey and I are going to take you through a little bit of the main adventure story mode, if you will, and we'll sprinkle a couple of new things along the way. So Corey, want to kick us off?
Yeah, thank you. It is my pleasure to talk anything Pikmin related. As you mentioned, JC, we are showing Pikmin 3 Deluxe today, and right now we're in story mode, probably about 5 minutes into the story, past the introduction, tutorial, cutscenes, etc. And I am controlling one of the explorers named Alf here.
El explorador se llama Alf.
Generally, what the story is 3 Alf and 2 explorer companions of his crash land on this alien planet and find themselves in need of getting back together again, finding the other explorers, but also finding food for their planet. And they meet these Pikmin creatures on the planet, which are adorable plant-like creatures
Llegan a un planeta, ¿no?
that are very curious. They're very loyal, and you'll be using them throughout your adventure. So I just called a few red Pikmin out of the base here. And you notice I'm skipping a few of the prompts. I'm going to be doing that a little bit throughout this, just in order to keep the flow going, as well as not to spoil the game for everyone as well. So, but as I move my left stick around, you're able to see that I control my explorer, and the left stick also controls this red cursor as well. So if I'm all the way out of range, it also moves the explorer. If I push the A button where the cursor is
bien, ¿verdad? No estoy muy
you'll toss
bajito.
a Pikmin to that location. And if you toss a Pikmin near something like this flower pellet over here, you'll see that the Pikmin automatically starts to carry it back to his base, which is called an onion. And we're going to see some sprouts pop out of the top there and then go into the ground, which is the way Pikmin propagate. So if you want to get more Pikmin on your squad, you just want to bring things back to their base and then pluck the new Pikmin out of the ground. I've been using the control stick to control thus far the cursor. What I'm going to do now briefly is just pause the game and switch over to motion control to control the cursor, just because that's a personal preference of mine that I started to like a lot more on the Wii U release, but it is totally optional for player preference on how to control the pointer. So that red pointer where you see 23 is now being controlled with just a little bit of motion now. So story-wise, we are trying to reunite with our fellow explorer, Brittany. And if I pause the game using the minus button, we can see that there's sort of a radar being pulsating over here across the water. So it looks like I need to somehow cross the water to reach Brittany. But if I try to take the direct approach and just go through the water, we're finding out that the game tells us that red Pikmin are not able to go into the water. Water is lethal to them. So fortunately, I can use my whistle with the B button and whistle all of my Pikmin back to land. So because the Pikmin are so helpful throughout my adventures, you really do grow a bond to them, and you do not want to lose even one. But
Yes.
there's a little creature over here that wants a lunch too. So
yeah, it looks hungry.
Yeah, these yellow things that you'll come across are memos, which can often give you a brief hint on how to go about your adventure here. So it recommended me tossing a Pikmin on the back of that creature, which if I toss a couple more, we'll be able to carry that creature back to the base to get more Pikmin. And I actually tossed some Pikmin on these bridge tiles as well, because what we're able to see is even though I can't cross the water yet, if I collect enough bridge tiles with my Pikmin, they'll be able to build this bridge. So while they are bringing those tiles to the bridge, I can see that there's a few more bridge pieces across this wall, but I need to break down that wall. So if I toss a couple Pikmin at the wall, they'll start breaking it down, but they'll go pretty slowly. So if I want to speed up the process, we throw more Pikmin at at
Ok,
the
Lemmings,
job.
gracias.
And meanwhile, we still have our Pikmin collecting these tiles. Looks like my Pikmin also brought back that carcass from the small little creature, so we were able to get even more Pikmin. And we'll throw these new Pikmin at the wall to make it go even faster.
¿Qué pasó, Pelo? No te llegó la notificación, ¿verdad?
You know, this whole thing about
Se me hace que se
Pikmin,
volvió
I do want to
loco
talk a bit more about that,
Twitch
'cause I
con
think it's
tanta
really
notificación
interesting.
que de repente estaba
You
mandando.
know, these Pikmin, you think about it, right? You pluck them
Ni
out of the
siquiera cerré el
ground.
Twitch y aparecía aquí.
These big
Pues
eyes,
claro.
they're still trying to figure out the world, and they're kind of relying
Eso es lo
on you
bonito
to
de
tell
Twitch,
them what
pero...
to do. So, as you can tell, all these
Ah, qué
Pikmin
padre.
have like a single focus when you tell them what to do. And, you know, from their perspective, it's like, okay, well, I should
Sí, se ve bien
follow
bonito.
this living thing that's telling me what to
Pero
do.
pues al
right?
final es
But at the same
port
time,
del...
you know, it's kind
del
of
de Wii U.
curious about you. The open eyes, full of wonder, you know, it's kind of relying on
Como
you
que se
to
le
kind
echaron
of
ganas. Sí.
help it,
Ujú.
right? And so I feel kind of bad because
Sí,
you
se ve
know,
bastante
at
bonito.
times you may encounter some enemies and Pikmin may what's the word, die.
En Facebook se me avisó. Ah, cool.
And that sound is absolutely heartrending, and I do not wish that on anyone. However, if you put
Lo que
Pikmin
pasa,
in a
Pelor,
bad
es que
situation, it's kind of your fault. It's not theirs.
Twitch siempre
So
es
take care
un
of Pikmin.
stream, digamos que
That's the
continuo.
story.
That's right. And I had to go back and collect them.
O sea,
As you mentioned, they were
siempre que estés en
single-minded,
el
so once they're
canal,
done with
siempre
the
vas a
task,
caer
they
a
kind
lo,
of
a
just
lo que
wait for the
transmite
next
el
order.
stream.
So you're constantly needing to whistle to get their attention whenever they complete their tasks. And we're coming up against our second creature of the game here, which is a larger
Segunda
version
criatura del juego.
of that bulborb we saw, that creature.
Es una versión más grande que la anterior.
As I creep around here before waking them up, I did want to point out another one of the fun features of the game, which is the in-game camera. At any time, you can push the minus button to pause and kind of just
puedes tomar fotos.
see the world from your explorer's eyes, which is that
cagado.
pint-sized view. So we've got, this Pikmin's just looking at me waiting for his next order. Hey, buddy. But it's a fun way to take pictures on your journey, as well as almost feel like you're kind of on this nature safari. While this enemy is sleeping, instead of tossing my Pikmin one at a time, I'm going to use a different feature which is called Charge, which if you lock on and press the X button, will send them all of your Pikmin in your squad at the creature or
Ok,
object
en
at
lugar de
once.
aventarle unos poquitos, le aventas
And
todos.
that can be very useful if you've got a large squad. You're
Con
wanting
charge.
them to take an order all at one time. So you can use that on the walls as well, for example.
And you mentioned that you just used that feature a couple times. I do want to point that out because I really, really like that feature, which is the lock-on feature. If you're familiar with the Pikmin games, you'll kind of remember that there was no lock-on feature. You had to kind of manually aim, kind of do it. But by tapping the ZR button a couple times, you can cycle through targetable items on the screen. And so it can make kind of tossing and moving your Explorer a lot faster just by kind of hot swapping between different lock-on targets. So I really dig that.
Yeah, and I think the cycling through the different objects and enemies is the thing that really helps me when there are multiple objects or you're in a tight space. So we're coming across Brittany. We're getting a little bit closer to her. We are seeing that fortunately she's okay. The crash landing just took a little bit of a nap, and she needs to be rescued now. She's kind of still trapped in here.
Ok, vamos a
Like that language you're
rescatarla.
Yeah, the explorers do speak a different language, so fortunately we as the players can see the subtitles there. Very cute language. All right, so Brittany noticed that there was some fruit nearby, which we will see just as we round the corner. A strawberry, which looks much larger in this world to us because we, as the explorer and the Pikmin, are so tiny. And because my explorer cannot jump, the only way to reach this item is actually by tossing Pikmin.
Escuché algo de modo multijugador o algo así.
You see that number 3 on
Bueno,
the
ahorita está
bottom.
hablando
That indicates
de
that
que,
the,
bueno, hay cuatro
minimum number of
personajes
Pikmin
en la
required to
pantalla.
move the object is 3, but you can throw a few more if
Ahorita
you
no han
want the
mencionado
object
nada
to
de un
move a
modo
little faster.
multijugador.
And they will know instinctively
Traje
the
de Olimar
Pikmin
para...
to bring that back
¿Nuevo
to the
traje de
base.
Olimar para
So
Smash?
I can
Podría
leave
ser.
them on their own, and they'll get it back there. And,
Nuevo
as we're
personaje
trying to
jugable
continue on and
de
rescue
Smash, ¿no?
Brittany, we need to get past this wall,
Van a
but
sacar a
we're
la Britney.
finding that this wall, red Pikmin can't break down. And so another new feature
Necesitamos un
that
picnic
I wanted to
nuevo, un
showcase
Pikmin
here
nuevo.
is these optional hints that have been added. So if a newer player, got stuck or just wanted to
Ya
know
tiene
what to do next, you
ayudas que
can
antes
push
no tenía.
up on the plus control pad, and that's going to show some hints, and then even in addition, some arrows on the ground just to let you know where to go. So it's guiding me to a nearby cave here to
Ok, nos están
find what we
guiando
need to progress the
llegar.
story.
And at the top of the screen, you'll notice that kind of sun meter.
O sea,
kind
te
of
lleva de la
crawling
manita
across
para
from
ver lo
left
que
to
tienes
right
que
across
hacer.
the top of the screen, and that kind of indicates how much time Corey has to get through his tasks because, well, let's just say nighttime is not very nice
qué miedo.
for Pikmin. You want to make sure you get them out of there before sundown. And, that actually ties into the hints also. So if this is the first time for you playing the game, if you really just want to make the most out of your day and you want something, some kind of hint, feel free to use them. And just it'll help you kind of explore different ways and different methods that maybe
Órale.
you weren't aware of yet.
Y ya
So
consigues unos
definitely use
Pikmin
it.
nuevos.
And after defeating this enemy, we
Tis.
discovered that there
¿Cómo
was
estás?
a new type of Pikmin that were actually inside
Nuevo
that
tipo de
creature. These are rock Pikmin. And
Pikmin de
we
roca.
didn't go into detail earlier, but each Pikmin type will have their own specialties. So we're learning here that rock Pikmin have the ability to break
Wow.
sort of these hard crystals or glass, which red Pikmin would not.
Está
Later
chido.
on, you'll see that blue Pikmin are the only Pikmin that can go in the water.
Los azules son los únicos que pueden meterse al agua. Los rojos no pueden, los de piedra no pueden.
All right. So now that we've got that enemy defeated, I would like to basically sprout a few more rock Pikmin. So I'm going to ask those rock Pikmin to bring it back to the onion, and we will
No pensé que
pluck
fueran a
some
dar
more
tanto
rock
detalle.
Pikmin out before we continue
De hecho
our
los
adventure.
Treehouse Jazz
Again, one
son
of
gameplays. Tal cual.
Memos that pop up, letting you know a little game tip.
¿Qué pacho?
I love the adorable kind of 2D artwork on those as well.
Heinz, Hoss,
All right, so
bienvenido.
we've got our
Hola.
rock Pikmin. We've got our red Pikmin. I feel confident we can head out of this cave now. Oops. Let me reorient myself there. There we go.
Sí, siempre que hay un Treehouse es así. Siempre es así, un chorro de detalles sobre el juego.
So this wall that we could not break down earlier, again,
Ahora
if
sí
I
ya
try
vas a
to
poder
throw
destruirla.
red Pikmin, we'll see that nothing really happens.
avientas
But
los
if I push the
rojos.
L button, I swap between Pikmin types. and
Con
can now
el
throw
botón L
rock
seleccionas entre los Pikmin que
Pikmin, and
tienes.
we're seeing them break down
Y avientas ya los de piedra y ya rompen.
using my whistle to gather my Pikmin back, and
Otra
Brittany,
vez.
finally we found you.
Yeah, Jesús de Nazaret, bienvenido.
Let's break down this
Andamos viendo
last wall as well.
el Treehouse de Pikmin. Una introducción al gameplay de cómo va a ser el juego.
That's a celebratory backflip they just did.
De esto no me spoileo, Kirby bebé.
Super happy to
Bueno,
no longer be confined.
Si no quieres, ¿no?
So now
gustaron
that
los
they've
zombies?
Reunited here, I'm able to use both Brittany and Alf at the same time. And the first kind of way that the game will teach you, it's not just for, I guess, aesthetics that you can have multiple party members, but it actually comes in handy from a strategy perspective.
Durin.
So having
¿De
Brittany,
qué es mi
you can
camiseta?
toss
Es la de
her
Mario
over a
Kart, ya
gap,
le he mostrado.
toss her some Pikmin, and then at any moment while you're playing, you can push the Y
Anderson,
button
gracias por tu
and
like.
switch to Brittany, and then we're going to see that she's able to, since she's on a higher elevation, throw some Pikmin up to reach that lemon. And if I were
Ok,
on a
entonces ya pueden
lower
bajarla.
elevation, I'm going to whistle really quickly once they get this lemon down.
El Colas nos hospeda.
We would see that if I tried to throw red Pikmin that high, they would not be able to reach that high. So there are points throughout the game where you will need to split up your squad and maybe throw one over a gap or over water. But since we
funciona
do have
diferente.
two explorers now in the game, both Alf and Brittany, JC, I thought it could be a good time for you
which
to hop in,
exclusivos-
since
Switch
with Pikmin
tenemos?
3 Deluxe, it is the first time
Nada.
that two people can play the story mode together.
Poquitos
At
le
any
quedan
time
unos
you can
poquitos
just pause, go to
exclusivos
play
al
co-op,
Wii U.
and, JC,
Sí.
you want to hop in?
Absolutely.
Cool. So we'll see the screen now become
Órale, split
split
screen, qué
with me
bonito.
on the left, JC on the right.
Buen system.
JC doesn't have any Pikmin right now, so
I'm
he
lonely,
can't
give
really
me
do
some.
much on his own. So I'm going to throw some red
Ya queremos
Pikmin
ver a la
your
mona
way,
Chela
and you'll just
tranquilos.
have to whistle at them, and they'll be in your party.
Appreciate
De
that.
hecho, el
And
truco,
I'm gonna keep
fue
charge of these rock
clavarnos
Pikmin.
lo de,
Let's just keep making our way
Pikmin
forward.
antes de
There's some
Zelda,
creatures
porque
up
si no
here that
nadie va a
are
ver esto.
carrying crystals, which can be a little dangerous to the red Pikmin. So let me take these guys out before the red Pikmin squad comes in.
Ok,
All
entonces
right,
primero,
appreciate that.
primero
They're
está
gone.
usando a los de piedra.
So
So
I'm gonna-
I'll take these bridge tiles
Antes
over here
de-
and start
de
building.
que los
because
rojos
yeah,
pasen.
there's a bridge. So I'll start doing
Los
this.
rojos son mucho
Okay.
más débiles.
There is a bridge we found, and JC
Esa no es la canción de la Urs.
I found some bridge tiles
Nuestros
on the left
exclusivos.
that need to be carried back, but it was in a sort of crystal, so I used
Literal
my
todo lo
rock
que dicen te lo
Pikmin
explican en el
there.
juego.
And we're
¿Sí?
kind of seeing some teamwork here. JC is using his squad to do a different task than me.
Sí, pero ahorita
Which is, Yeah, again, we're making the
Yo creo
most
que
of
esto
our
es para la
time,
gente que nunca ha jugado Pikmin.
and it's fun working
O que
together.
nada más lo han
So,
visto así muy por
looks like
encimita.
I've got 7
Como yo.
more bridge tiles
Yo no
to
jugué
go, and we will have this bridge completed.
No hablo inglés, lo que entiendo es que los monos se mueven con el control.
Come
Pues es
on,
que realmente no
Pikmin.
están diciendo gran cosa, ¿eh? Están casi platicando.
And I did time that appropriately.
Ya
to make
dijeron
sure
cómo
that I
cómo
wanted the
hacer
right
los
one.
puentes, ya dijeron
So I get
cómo encontrar los
more
Pikmin
Alright,
nuevos.
red
So our
Pikmin.
bridge should be done
Explicaron
now.
la-
Looks like they've got it. Final pieces in place, and
There we
all
go.
right.
Ya
so
pusieron las últimas
now that we've
piezas
got
y ya
this
está el
bridge, I'm
puente
just gonna
listo.
whistle to make sure I've got all
Me
of
da
the
ansiedad.
kind of idle Pikmin in my party.
Me imagino.
And actually,
I'm taking some.
yeah. Okay, good. You threw some Pikmin on some enemies and some
Y ahora ya se llevan a los enemigos con los Pikmin.
food, some pellets that we can bring back. And as we make our way back, you're going to
¿Quién
notice
jugó-
that we're actually back where we started.
¿Quién
So
jugó
we built
Lemmings?
the bridge, sort of a shortcut now back to the starting
¿Quién jugó
point.
Lemmings? Los originales.
I'll go ahead and grab
El
these red
1 y el
Pikmin
2.
since They're just standing there, and
Mhm.
we're
El
finding
1,
a
de
new
hecho.
wall that we couldn't actually break down earlier when we
No
first
podíamos
started.
abrir esa
So
puerta,
since I
ya,
found rock
ya la pueden
Pikmin,
abrir con los Pikmin
I'm
de
going
piedra.
to throw them at this wall. And we didn't talk too much about this earlier, but any piece of fruit that you saw, we got the strawberry earlier.
Cualquier
You'll want to
tipo de
bring that back to your base.
fruta tienes que traerlo a la
And
base.
the more fruit you collect, the more days
Mientras
you're
más
going to be able
frutas
to explore those
Tengas, vas a
worlds.
tener
So,
más tiempo para
that's
jugar.
how fruit plays a role in the game.
O sea, la
story mode.
fruta te ayuda a tener más tiempo.
Brittany here is noticing that
Los oigo
we
en
got
Face,
a new
vientos Duck.
radar kind of detection from elsewhere on the map. So she's
Tenemos el
recommending we
radar
go check it
para...
out.
Vamos a ir para allá.
There's another tip letting us know that red Pikmin
Los
are fire
Pikmin
resistant.
rojos son resistentes al fuego.
Looks so defiant in the face of
Yeah, it's a
fire. Look at
fuego.
that. I
Right.
just kind of enjoy it. Okay, I'm gonna take
So
out this
some
this
Some
enemy
new
here. It's breathing
creatures
fire.
here. All right.
Wow.
Oh, and I did not
se
listen to
quema.
that warning, but my rock Pikmin's lit up like a birthday candle, and he's
Tienes
freaking
tiempo
out.
limitado, sí.
Similar to Pikmin,
Dura
if
en
they're
ti, se mira
drowning,
aquí porque no hay
as
stream.
long as you whistle at a Pikmin in peril,
Que des me
as long
gusta
as
o algo y
it's
se
in
quede
time,
clavado.
they'll come running
Chale.
back to you, and they will
¿Se traba mucho?
they'll be okay. Here it's just letting us know that we found some bridge materials, but this time it's on the opposite side of the water, so there's going to be a little bit more complications in order to get those bridge pieces. All right.
Taking this.
I also have some red Pikmin in my party, so rather than continuing to burn my rock Pikmin, I'm
Ah,
gonna
todos los streamers, no tú
try
solo.
to use my red Pikmin as well. Oh, thank you. Teamwork.
I got you.
Nice. All right, so
There you go.
those enemies have been felled. All right, so at this point, there is the bridge that we cannot cross on the left. JC, if you kind of come up to where I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hold down the Y button, which will allow you to join my party, and then I can toss you over the water. And I can also throw some rock Pikmin over to you, because I think you're going to need some rock and some red.
Thank you.
And
Oh,
while
Pikmin
you work
riches.
on that bridge, I'll just hang out.
Sweet. Ooh, yes, found him.
Oh, nice. You used the charge feature. Well
I'm
done.
impatient.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to have a little bit of fun.
Veo
One
una
of my
chica
other
inglesa,
favorite
el otro día lo
features
tuvo que
of the
dejar.
game. We showed
¿En
it a little
serio?
bit earlier, but
¿Se le cortó
that
mucho?
camera, I really like it. From that pint-sized perspective, oh, there's our enemy we just defeated, but we can also see
qué
our,
mal.
some Pikmin hanging out.
Hola, Leonor.
Autofocus.
Estamos viendo a los Pikmins.
Oh, wow. They are just waiting for you to get your
Oh,
job
mira
done.
qué
lounging.
bonitos, acostaditos.
They need direction. They need guidance. They need love and support and all the
Ay,
other
sí,
things.
necesitan,
I love
necesitan guía.
Okay. Back to work. You guys.
Sigamos
Okay.
trabajando.
Yeah, I
Otro
think my folks
puente.
are done on my side, so we're good.
Actually,
lo va a hacer
the
del
one
otro
other
lado.
mode or the one other feature I wanted to showcase briefly is another new feature to Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is called the Piclopedia. And here Any creatures that you come across in the game will get their own entries, and you
Pokédex.
can, once you go in, you can
Pokédex
tap
para
on it
Pikmin.
and
Para
see
Pikmin.
different entries from
Estaba
different
almorzando,
explorers
aprovecho.
in your party. So
Sí,
we've
es
got Alf
el.
here,
Xavier Ayala
that's
es el
commenting
Pikmin
on this dwarf
de
Bulborb.
Wii U.
Since we've got Brittany, we can see her
Porteado y
comments as
mejorado un
well.
poco.
There are spaces for 3 additional explorers notes, so
Ahora
you
sí,
can
Renato,
imagine that
vientos.
there will be some other fun
Los
notes
luchas contra
to,
jefes son
to read
odiosos,
about
me
as well. But
imagino.
I find that it's really
Sí, no, no está
fascinating
nuevo
to
porque
come
está
in
en Wii U, pero
because
es
each
nuevo para
explorer
los
has
que
their
no
own
lo
take
habíamos jugado.
on how they talk about the enemies and creatures you come across. So yeah, that is probably enough story mode for now.
Ok, suficiente modo de
I'll go
historia por
ahead
ahora.
and pause the game, and
Voy a poner pausa.
let's switch over to another brand new feature to
Gracias,
Pikmin
Orlando.
3 Deluxe called Side Stories.
Side Stories.
These are
Ahora son
some elements where you'll
historias
be able to
secundarias.
see what Captain Olimar and Louis got up to prior to the main story of Pikmin.
Lo que hicieron Captain Olimar y
Before I
el otro.
forget, let's also
antes
talk
de
about.
Pikmin
I remember
3.
we mentioned the whole the sun kind of passing over, and they have a certain limited amount of time in the day.
Hablan del tiempo del día.
You know, there's actually a much more difficult mode for
Hay un
you.
modo más diferente para la gente que
Wanna talk
quiera.
about
Yeah, there are 3 difficulty modes in story.
3 modos de dificultad.
In Pikmin 3 Deluxe, there is normal, hard, and there is even a
Normal,
ultra spicy
difícil
difficulty
y
setting,
ultra spicy,
which,
o sea, ultra
gives you
picoso.
only 60 Pikmin can be in the
Solamente
field
te
at
da
once, as well as some
60
additional
Pikmin
challenging
al mismo
elements.
tiempo.
So for those that are familiar with Pikmin 3 or want a much bigger challenge, that'll be right up your alley. But
Es que se me olvidó el nombre del
yeah,
otro.
for now, let's hop into a sneak peek of Side Stories, which I mentioned feature Captain Olimar prior to the happenings of the main story. And we're going to see Olimar here facing the camera.
Olimar.
Sort of the background of this is that Captain Olimar, the company he works for, is in debt yet again back on his home planet. And his boss is sending him here looking for treasure to help the company get out of debt.
Que ya ha llegado
Olimar
2 veces a
is
este
a very loyal
planeta.
worker.
Hace demasiado
And
frío.
will go to great lengths to make his boss and employer happy. So good for Olimar here.
Qué bacán se ve.
Of course, Captain Olimar was in Pikmin 1 and the original Pikmin and Pikmin 2, as well as Louis, who was his partner in Pikmin 2.
Louis,
maybe a little bit less competent than Captain Olimar, who you can see
Louis
here,
es el otro.
but still a very key member of Olimar's team.
Well, and he's got his charm. Louis got charm.
Yeah, no, Louis is great. We love Louis. But let's see here. All right, the objective of this mission is actually going to be different from the story mode we were playing earlier, because now the goal is just to collect as much treasure
Ahora
as we can.
únicamente
in
necesitamos
12 minutes.
encontrar
And
los
JC,
más
of course,
tesoros
we've
que
got you in
podamos
here
en
split
12
screen right now,
minutos.
but for the moment we'll just switch it
Ahorita va a
back to
jugar
solo play
con un solo jugador.
for simplicity, and I will, I still do get to control both explorers, so I can still get Olimar in my party. I can also call the yellow Pikmin, which we're seeing for the first time in this demo.
Va a llamar a
over,
los Pikmins
and we'll
rojos y
see
a
a
los
little bit of their
amarillos.
specialties. So we've got this electrified fence where if I throw a red Pikmin at it, we'll see them get a little bit electrocuted. But the yellow Pikmin are immune. They can be thrown
Los rojos
at
se
an electric
electrocutan, pero
fence
los
and they can
amarillos
start
son inmunes a la
destroying it.
electricidad.
So we will leave Louis there to keep
No da
an
lástima
eye
cuando se
on
ponen
our
los
yellow
pobres Pikmin, ya lo sé.
while we take our red Pikmin out into
Mientras
the
los
rest of the
rojos
map.
van a tratar de
We
atrapar
saw
este
this
mono.
creature a second ago and learned that he's got kind of fire breathing, but knowing that we've got our red Pikmin with us, we're
Los
not
Pikmin
worried
no les
about
pasa
fire.
nada, sí es cierto.
So even if they get shaken off, which
Aunque les
this
pase
enemy
algo, de
creature
todos modos no
is
les va a pasar nada.
doing, we can let's do some charging actually, Adam. There we go.
Apretamos el
Nice.
charge y
Nice.
se les echan encima a
Since
todos
the
los
Pikmin
Pikmin.
were nearby when he was defeated, they're just automatically going to bring him back, which I will
Cuando
let
están
them do.
cerca, automáticamente se van a
And we found
la
some
base.
wild Pikmin and blue Pikmin in the wild
Aquí
here,
hay unos
so we'll just call
azules.
them. But before we hop in this water here, I'm going to swap back to Louis to see what he's up to, and he's just plucking Pikmin and
¿Qué está
keeping an eye on
haciendo?
those yellow
Louis está
Pikmin.
sacando Pikmins del suelo.
So, all right, let's take our blue Pikmin into the water.
Vamos a llevar el azul
Again,
al
blue Pikmin
agua.
are the only Pikmin that
Son
can
los
survive in the
únicos que
water.
pueden sobrevivir en el
We
agua.
found a creature in here that's a little bit hard to see, but he's
Vamos a
under the
ver una
water here. You can see
criatura,
that
está
pie
debajo del
chart
agua.
slowly starting to
Ya
disappear.
lo están atacando.
And this number 5 is actually the amount of gold
El 5 es la cantidad de
gold,
tesoro que
nuggets
tiene.
here. As the Pikmin take this treasure back to the base, we're going to see in our upper left the currency start to increase.
Arriba va
Pocos,
a ir
which is the
creciendo
currency of Olimar and Louis'
el oro
planet.
conforme
So that is my
lo vayan
objective,
llevando a
to
la
bring
nave.
back as much treasure as we can. Looks like the yellow fence is almost done, but not quite.
Ya
So
casi terminan con la reja
oh,
amarilla.
we lost some Pikmin somewhere. What happened?
Voy a
Oh
denunciar el
no!
porque no estamos entendiendo nada,
That
pero en el canal se
sound.
entiende.
I was not as smart
Para eso
as I
estás
could have
aquí,
been,
Leonor.
and I lost some Pikmin because
El problema es que no está en español.
there's this
Por eso no lo están
feature down
transmitiendo.
here that is electric. That I believe either electrocuted my blue Pikmin or maybe ate them, but let's
Maybe
just
both.
Take them out. Yeah, maybe both. Yeah. I can still throw blue Pikmin at him, but once he starts to generate electricity, you want to get away. All right, I think we've got him. The blue Pikmin. All right, they're bringing him back. Great. Let's head back here with him. Actually, Louis got control of that, so I'm just going to take control of Olimar. And maybe Olimar can find some more Pikmin on the stage.
Está bien largo esa madre.
You know, I also noticed that
Leonor.
you're walking by a couple of different fruit and stuff like that, and I also want to point out
De hecho, no es la primera vez que pasa,
the different ways you can kind of think about a map. Because, you know,
Sí,
from
ha
my
habido varias
perspective,
veces
if you have a
que he tenido que
large
transmitir
number of Pikmin, that really is a
el original en
defining factor of how much
inglés.
you can grab.
Bueno,
Because, you
Renato.
know, a large piece of fruit or a large item that requires a lot, if it's farther away from your base, you're not only going to need to, you know, have the number to carry that item, but if you find something on the way back,
sí.
you're going to need enough to, like if you want spur of the moment just to go pick it up, you're going to need to also have enough Pikmin to pick up that item as well. So I always try to memorize, like, where items are, what did I see, where did I pass it, is there anything else en route that I could probably take the next time I come back. And so it also creates a really interesting kind of play mechanic where I'm kind of thinking about how could I do this better, right? It's like I did it in this order last time. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this map one more time, and I know I can get more out of it. I know I missed that. I missed this. So
Están hablando de
And I can already tell
las
you, replay
estrategias
value,
que
I've
debes de
already
tener
made multiple mistakes that
con tus
I
diferentes
would not have
Pikmins.
wanted to do, such as
Una vez
losing
que
those blue
pasas
Pikmin
un
early. So if I
stage de
played this
alguna
again, there
forma,
would have been things I would have done
puedes
differently.
probar de otra
While
forma
I've
con
got these
otros
Pikmin
diferentes
bringing back
Pikmins,
grapes,
siendo que ya los
switch
encontraste
back to Louis
después,
here.
bla, bla.
just to make sure that I always want to have my Pikmin doing
Aprendan
something,
inglés con Jazz.
in this mode, because again, you want to create that high score and get as much treasure as you can. So,
Con
all right,
la
we've got this
Miss
gold
Jazz.
nuggets going, and looks like these Pikmin are still working on the grapes.
Sí, la Jazz es muy inteligente, se aprovecha del stream para promocionarse.
All right, let's go back to base, because there might just be some idle Pikmin at base waiting for their next order, which there are. Let's take them out for their next adventure.
give them purpose, Corey.
Ooh, and pluck some more Pikmin. All right, while they're plucking. While Pikmin are being plucked, it's always a good idea to switch to your other explorer. All right. Because you can't, while they're being plucked, there's not really much else that those guys can be doing. So, all right.
Se imaginan los profes dan gracias por Discord, Facebook o Insta.
Weakness is actually
Pues,
on his back.
Leonor, en
He's
estos
got the
tiempos,
shell on the front. Let's see if we can
en
just
estos
charge.
tiempos está bien donde
Oh, no.
den clases.
Let's
Si
see.
los chavos la
no.
reciben,
We
donde
didn't see
sea es
that.
bueno.
No, let's just get away from that.
Oh man, that
Not all
sound.
Pikmin, not all creatures are actually small though. Even though we bailed out
Qué
of
elegante
that
hombre.
battle,
Muchas gracias,
and that
Adventure.
creature was quite small. There are some creatures that are
Estamos viendo
much
este
more
directo
intimidating
de
and large
Nintendo.
that you'll come across. This one included, which
Así como,
yeah, let's,
como Homero, ¿no? Así todo trajeado. Es que estamos viendo el directo de Nintendo.
I've collected
Pero,
327
mi playera.
tokos or gold so far. This is probably a good point to end.
No funcionará
for
si no
now.
pueden poner
I don't-
atención en
again,
los
I
streams
don't
del
wanna spoil
juego.
too much of
Les
these
gusta
side stories.
que le van a poner su clase por
But
Facebook. Sí.
yeah, let's
Y luego más en Facebook. Que nomás
end here
te
for
pasas a
now.
lo
But we've
siguiente
got one more mode that we wanted to showcase.
Siguiente modo
which
que nos van a
is
mostrar,
completely different from anything we've shown so
completamente
far.
distinto
And it is
de lo que
a
han mostrado.
one-on-one competitive mode called
Modo
Bingo Battle.
competitivo. Modo competitivo,
So
uno
Bingo
contra
Battle,
uno.
you
Bingo
know,
Battle.
it's definitely one of I think our favorite modes in the Treehouse because it gets really, really heated. You'll see in a second.
Pero no,
and
esto no
the
es.
objective of Bingo Battle really
Lo di en
is to
stream
show
a la
out your
vez,
bingo
claro.
card. I'm going to be
Juego.
on the right side, Coral will be on the left. And of course, if you're familiar
Es el
with
Nintendo
bingo,
Treehouse,
all
sí.
you have to do is just make a line.
Es el Nintendo
It could be
Treehouse de
vertical,
Pikmin 3.
horizontal, diagonal, any kind of
Y
line.
terminando
And to fill
esto,
out each
un
of those
anuncio
little
de
spaces,
Hyrule
you have to
Warriors.
collect either an item
A ver
or
qué
an
tal.
enemy to fill in that space. Sometimes there's multiple of an item. Sometimes there's not. But if you take a look at the two cards in the bottom and the middle, you'll notice that there are the same items, but they are placed
Mari Carmen, gracias por el like.
on each of our bingo cards.
A ver,
And,
tienes que buscar
I'm not as good at
lo
this
que
mode as
encuentra.
Corey. I'm
Tienes que
gonna
buscar lo que
focus a
tienes en
little
en la
bit,
bingo card.
craft my strategy of what I want to focus on first, and
Yeah, I can talk a little about what's going on right now. Since we start with only 5 Pikmin by default.
Tenemos
of course, you
5
can customize
Pikmins
that,
para
but
empezar.
Because we start with 5, you're going to want to create a larger Pikmin squad as quickly as you can.
Necesitas
because
hacer
the
un
more
un
Pikmin
squad
that you
de
have in your
Pikmins lo
squad,
más rápido
the more
posible.
that you're able to accomplish. And the more that you're able
Entonces
to
abres
divide
las florecitas,
tasks that you need to
te las
divide
llevas
tasks,
y
like
se plantan
building
los
a
Pikmin
bridge
en el
or,
suelo y ya los sacas.
sending some to one area and some to another.
No,
JC,
la
push the
cita de
minus
luego.
button there to pull up the map, which either player
Se
can
saca
do.
unas patas.
If you're ever not sure where a specific item on the bingo board that you want to collect is,
El modo de juego de Hyrule Warriors no me gustaba o atraía bastante hasta que jugaba un Spirit Warriors y me vicié. Son muy buenos los Warriors. Pero no son para todos, exactamente. Es demasiado caótico de repente, pero es muy satisfactorio cuando ya vences a todos los enemigos. Se pone muy chingón. Algún día debería de jugar el otro Hyrule
There's a lot
Warriors.
of deep strategy in here too. While Corey's talking, I'm actually thinking about a couple things. Like, for example, taking a look at the bingo card that
¿De
I
ese
have,
cuántos juegos hay?
and
No
actually
conocía.
targeting the corners.
3.
If I target the corners,
Este es un
I
port
probably shouldn't
del
have said it out
tercero
loud,
que
because it wouldn't
estaba
normally-
en Wii U.
If you target corners, that means you have with one item, you're able to get like a horizontal, vertical, and diagonal line all at the same time.
O sea,
Um,
lo que tienes que hacer es
Yeah,
rellenar
absolutely.
tu
And just-
tarjeta de bingo
that
cazando
is a
los
good point to
animales
show
que-
that, yeah, you can go into each other's bases. And
Cazando los
JC
animales que
threw
tienes.
some Pikmin towards me, which started, they kind of just start like thwacking at my head, which is really annoying, but very effective, and I have to use the control stick to shake them off. My Pikmin can defeat JC's Pikmin, which is nice.
Por eso no me llama la
but,
atención.
if our Pikmin do
Hyrule Warriors me
encounter each
gusta, pero me
other,
gustó mucho
they will want
de que
to,
fuera como
I
un
just
juego
saw one of my Pikmin get
fan-made.
slapped by yours,
Me
and,
frena.
did they
Sí,
fight each other a little
yeah,
bit?
actually, it's
era
on me
como
now.
un tributo.
Don't worry, the songs will
Todos
be
los
sung with
personajes
you, my
de
friend.
Zelda en un solo
Yeah,
juego.
that's right. Go get him. Go get him.
Okay,
Todas las
let's,
historias entrelazadas, está bien
you
bizarro.
see that
Number-
JC has an item actually from a roulette
I
that he
do.
has, which is a triple rocks, which he is able to use and drop on me. So I actually have to be really careful here.
I'm being very quiet about it. And now he's just all right. He
Yo
pointed
quiero
it
este
out. So that's
Pikmin, pero a mi vecino no le
fine.
gusta la
Yeah,
idea.
gotta think. Okay.
¿Y qué tal que el Hyrule Warriors no ha
And again,
bajado?
yeah, you do want to sometimes be aware of what your opponent's up to in this game,
Okay, so that's fine. Okay.
because they can be. JC can get pretty crafty at times.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna take a little.
Están hablando
detour
de
here, and I'm
cómo
gonna
cómo
start
juega cada uno.
strategizing by pulling some of these Pikmin I
This
found
guy.
that are my color, but they are in the water. So now I'm gonna try
El cupetón lo quiere.
and get some of these. I'm gonna grab these blue ones.
I know. Let's get you in the water. Yeah. Oh. I tried to lure your red Pikmin in the water.
No,
See if they would follow
stay
me.
away from my babies.
Okay.
Es el otro.
Need some cherries.
I'll take care of that. That's fine.
So this is the first time I'm finding a cherry
whoops.
item, which
That's probably
again, these cherries give me
Sorry,
a
sorry.
free spin on the item roulette, which can often change the tides of battle. So I'm wanting to get as many of these cherries as possible back to my base.
Esas cerezas le
I got a
permiten
rock.
utilizar la
So
ruleta que está ahí
my-
arriba.
Cherry got me a free
Oh,
Y le da
this is
items.
Not good.
which
Órale,
I
le da
can
items,
throw a
está chido.
Pikmin at this
Oh.
rock, and now I've got a rock.
Pikmin siempre me hicieron parecidos a los
bomb
Lemmings.
rock,
Justamente es lo que
basically.
preguntaba
So
hace
I
rato,
throw that
¿quién había
bomb
jugado
rock
Lemmings?
at
Yo soy
throw it in the
súper,
right now.
súper fan de los
Oh,
Lemmings.
he woke up and got out of there. Oh, man,
Terminé
that's
el de
nice.
Super
Let's see
Nintendo,
if
que
I
era
can- we can
relativamente
use electricity
cómodo.
to
Oh,
just sort
sure.
of,
Completito,
be
todos los
annoying
niveles.
to JC there and temporarily disable him. Another item that I picked up through that I got from my
Somos de
cherry
la época,
is sort
sí.
of a free spin on the item roulette,
Esos
which
Lemmings.
is this golden
Había uno de pesa como me
object,
viciaba.
which if I use it will fill up.
¿Cuál sería? ¿El 3?
Spot
¿El
on my bingo
2?
card randomly.
Había varios. Yo me quedé en el 1. El
Like it
1
was an apple.
era la neta.
Oh, no. It's the water. It's the water. It's the water now.
Alright.
Había uno en 3D,
Okay.
de hecho.
I think this
Uno de
guy
Lemmings.
here really continues in-
Sí, el 1 era la
I
neta.
need to
Leave him
find a different
alone.
way around this because...
Y la música.
Okay. So I need 2. I see the line that I want, but I'm. Oh no! That was a direct hit. Oh my
Tómala,
gosh, you got me
pobre.
at like the right time. I have one.
Oh, I was
I have
staring at your
one-
screen.
Le
I'm
mató a
sorry.
todos.
I'm down to one single Pikmin. If I win this map,
Oh, man.
Que los primeros niveles se los salieron de
JC
nivel
will
como una
never live it down.
pirámide
Oh,
dentro de la puerta,
yeah,
sí.
I won't.
he got me
I
sleeping.
won't.
Que gritaban,
and
"Yupi",
I
cuando llegaban a
won
la meta.
Pikmin. I
Let's
wish
see if I can actually just...
I had.
Oh, I
more than
really
one.
shouldn't do this though.
I need.
Dude, these
To
guys are
get
gonna
more
get
Pikmin.
so...
Vamos a hacer un multiverso de César Twitch,
Man.
César de YouTube y uno de Facebook.
If I get
¿Y está?
distracted maybe.
Cuando se caían y se quebraban. Ay, sí, pobrecitos. O cuando explotaban.
I just.
Oh, it's still shaking so much. Oh my gosh.
Cuando usabas la bomba.
Oh my god.
Oh,
come
no.
on. I need a chair.
Okay, dude, if I could just pick up... Where was that? I really shouldn't be checking this right now, but... Oh, that's right. All the
That's what
enemies
Tumble already
actually
did.
show up as those green flashing dots. So I'm actually trying to find...
Sí, como me
This
encantaban
guy.
los Lemmings.
Whew, the
Plática de
long-
señores. No, es que deberían de jugar Lemmings.
Go, go, go.
Es un juego muy bueno.
Oh,
Me and my
blue
buddy.
ones.
You're my boy,
My
Blue.
blues.
Todos
Did
sus
we just say blue at the
medicinas.
same time?
O sea, sacan las
Oh,
pastillas.
that was
¿no?
exactly what I needed. Okay. So the item that I just got was a
Me acuerdo de eso, los Crazy Machines.
10 free Pikmin, basically, which sprout at my base.
Come on.
Los Crazy Machines.
Come on, this will work.
¿Los Micro Machines o Crazy Machines? Crazy Machines no me suena.
But I need way more. JC looks like he just needs the.
Sí, yo por eso
red
estoy tapado,
bulb
porque
orb
tengo
and
frío.
The red marble,
estoy.
which are both.
You mean
en
like these
route.
two?
Yes. And I don't think I'm gonna have enough Pikmin to.
Oh, please
Get
tell me
you.
this is happening.
Nice.
Ya ganó.
Oh, this is so good. Oh, my
JC
palms are
got
sweaty. I'm so excited.
Ok, entonces es
So what?
hacer
what
una
yeah, I
línea.
think, from my perspective, what really turned the tides there is I was about to defeat both Bulborbs that I needed.
No, Micro
But that
Machines.
rock
Ajá.
came down at just the inopportune
Crazy
moment.
Machine era de hacer maquinitas. Ah, no.
And I had just kind of
Oh.
forgotten that JC still had that item.
No, de ese no me
Yeah, I
acuerdo.
was
Well
actually-
done. You used
Es
it.
que a mí no me gustaban
exactly
mucho
the right
los de
time.
pozos.
This feels so good,
Um,
guys. Okay,
JC
Excepto
feels way
Lemmings.
too good right now, so we're going to play one more game. This
Lemmings
one is
hasta
gonna
lo
be
tenía yo
over
en
probably
cartuchito
2
en
minutes
Super
because I'm
Nintendo, por
way
ahí debe
more
de estar.
incentive now to not take it easy. I'm not saying I was taking it easy last time, but
that felt so good.
Ay, ¿van a
this is
jugar
a
otro?
much smaller stage, so JC and I are probably going
Ah, ok,
to,
un stage mucho más
come
pequeño.
to a
Esperemos que acabe más
skirmish
rápido.
much quicker than we did in the last game.
Van a atacarse
So
mucho
there's
más
really
rápido.
less of an opportunity to make mistakes here.
Menos
There's
oportunidades
also,
para
just
hacer
a lot
errores.
of, again, the map is small, so
El cartucho
we
más
want to
tengo
be
es
acting
mi
very
cartucho
quickly
de Tetris
with
de
our
la
moves.
NES.
Yep. And Corey,
Hola,
again,
Sarchinito.
because Corey pointed out that the
Mi
map is really
cartucho más
small,
viejo
we're
debe de
probably gonna see us
ser-
get into some pretty heated,
Yeah, the
Pretty
only
heated battles
thing,
real
the
quick.
only thing in between us is that really this orange Bulborb enemy that you kind of see here. That's sort
Pues
of
debe de ser el
harassing
Mario,
the base
Mario
right now.
Brothers de NES.
So other than that, we could just sort
Porque
of
los del
waltz into
Atari,
each
quién sabe
other's
dónde
bases.
quedaron.
which scares me because.
Ah, no, los cartuchos no. No, sí tengo de Atari.
All right. What if I start just?
Por ahí debo de tener algunos cartuchos de Atari. Duck Hunt. Sí.
Come on.
Duck Hunt con un Mario.
Oh, it's a
Ajá.
big one. I didn't see it. Oh, run.
Y unos vecinos tenían el que era Duck Hunt con Mario, con el del tapete.
No, this is bad. This is bad. All bad.
Track. Pad, no sé qué.
Sound of dying Pikmin. Okay. So I need to be smart about
El
this.
tapete. ¿También tenés el tapete? Wow. No, yo no lo tuve.
Okay.
Sí, no, sería para un juego.
This one's okay.
Para el de carreritas.
Let's see
Oh
what else we
man,
can
these
get.
Bulborbs are just hungry, and wow, I do not like that they're on my side of the map right now. It's almost as if you sent them over here, but I know you didn't.
I did.
Lo
not.
que ocupo saber si esa versión de peleas de Pikmin es para varios.
You.
No lo he
So
visto.
it's only nice
No.
to give gifts that.
Iba
give
todo
JC
bugueado.
gifts of the same
Yo me acuerdo que
Palm
nosotros
Rock that
hacíamos
he
trampa
sent
con
me
el juego
earlier.
de las carreras, así con la mano.
I wonder if that actually worked out in my favor, because at least
Vaya, sí
he's
son
not seeing
viejos.
that I'm actually trying to steal one of the only things from my
Vaya,
map
son
that
igual de
exists,
viejos
which
que
is
mis
a
hermanos.
golden strawberry.
Nope, not
No,
seeing
no,
it
no, no,
totally
no,
at
no,
all.
no, no,
I have
you
no
are-
idea what you're doing.
No,
Demasiado
I-
viejos.
hold on,
Doing
Chale.
hold on. Nope, we're good.
Golden strawberry, you said?
No, mine. I have numbers. But
Y ya casi gana el azul.
No.
Esto es muy
So
rápido.
all
Why
I need
are you
now is a
going-
red strawberry, which
Ya la encontré.
looks like is right behind my
¿Cuánto
base.
falta para el
and
Zelda?
so
El
as long
colas
as
no tengo la
our-
menor
wow.
idea.
Yeah, so I can
Es,
give up. I don't need
este
to
es
worry
el
about
último
golden
modo
strawberry
que
because
mencionaron.
I've got my
He's got yellow.
Y este es el
red
último juego que van a
delicious
hacer, yo creo.
sunseed berry for the quick bingo.
Entonces,
I think that was a little over 2 minutes. So
That was a little over. That was
asumo
a
que en
speed.
unos
That was like
momentos
a mercy
va a
win
empezar.
right there. You
It
were
gets
just ending
really
it quickly.
competitive playing
Oh.
bingo battle.
Oh, ¿qué
as you
pasó,
can see
Renato?
from a little bit of a taste, we absolutely love this
Tranquilo.
mode. But really, all the modes offer a little bit of a different.
Mejor voy cigarros para robar el reno.
We hope you're looking forward to
Ándale.
checking out Pikmin.
Vamos por
3
cigarros
Deluxe.
y no
Be on the
regresemos.
lookout for an eShop demo that will include save data transfer to the full game.
Va a haber una demo
and if
del
you
del
complete
juego.
the eShop demo, defeat the last boss in the demo, you'll be able to start the full game with ultra spicy mode if you'd like that extra challenge. So
Guau.
again, thanks for
No,
checking
otra
out a
vez,
little
o regresan
bit
con
of
dos hijos
Pikmin 3
más.
Deluxe. Don't forget the game itself
Esto es
comes
real,
out
chale.
on October 30th.
Ya no creo que pase de la una.
Thanks, Corey. Again, really appreciate it. Thanks for letting me have
O sea,
that one win.
yo creo que lo que viene van a ser
that
como
does not happen
5
often.
minutos.
And again, I can't wait to play some more
10
Bingo
minutos
Battle with
máximo.
you, you know, in October. So, coming up next, obviously, is I'm waiting for this too, which is Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
Ahí viene
So,
lo de Hyrule Warriors
over to
of
you,
Calamity.
Kay.